All right, here with head men's basketball coach Tae Norwood, previewing the last weekend of the regular season. Jacks travel down to Cal State San Marcos and Cal State LA to close out the regular season and looking to clinch up that spot in the CCAA tournament. Coach, first off, just kind of give us your thoughts coming off of a rough patch this weekend, the last home weekend of the year against Pomona and San Bernardino. Or no, yes.
Disappointing weekend for us at home just because we dropped both games. A heartbreaker to San Bernardino, and then we didn't play well defensively down the stretch against Pomona. That's how much of a distant memory I'm trying to get it out of my head. We just didn't play well defensively down the stretch against Pomona. We allowed them to shoot 72% from the field in the second half, and anytime you do that, you're not going to win the game. So, I'm not into moral victories. Either you win or you lose. And we just didn't do a good job of taking advantage of 2 home games at the end of the season.
With that being said, you guys still are in a position to clinch a postseason spot this weekend. Currently in a 3-way tie at 10-10 with SF State and Sonoma State. I'm not completely sure what all the playoff scenarios are, but I know that if you guys can at least get a win this weekend, that should at least favor your chances as teams play each other and beat each other. Just talk about what the mentality is in the locker room with you and the guys going into this last weekend and just taking care of business.
I told those guys, you gotta win yourself into the tournament. We control our own destiny, so that's a great feeling when you don't have to depend on other teams to help you out. So our goal is to go down south and try to get 2 wins in the season. And if you do that, the seedings and stuff take care of itself. I want to be playing well before we go into conference play. And I know we didn't get it done this weekend, but the great thing about the season is such a long season, and every week you get a chance to make up for your faults the week before or correct some of those faults. So hopefully we'll try to build on some of the things that we did well last weekend and put it into good use this weekend on the road.
And so let's talk about these matchups this weekend. Obviously, you've played San Marcos and Cal State LA already this season. LA, we were able to take care of business. San Marcos was a little bit of a different story. It seemed like it was kind of a flip-flop both games when you guys played them up here earlier in the season. Just talk about what San Marcos brings to the table in terms of matchups and tenacity, and what you're looking for your guys to do to counter that this weekend.
Yeah, that's another game we let get away from us this year. We was up 12 points in that game. And they were able to get back into the game. We got to do a better job of guarding high ball screen action. They run a lot of that because it's part of their offense, the dribble drive offense, or they go 4-out-1 and screen and roll with Minter down to the middle of the lane and try to get you to overhelp. So we got to be locked in on getting through screening action, especially that high ball screen. Or if we decide to change up the way we guard that ball screen, I don't want to give away too much in the interview on how we plan on defending it. But we definitely got to make some adjustments from last game, and that's the beauty of playing guys twice in the league. You get a chance to watch it on film and make the corrections from some of the things you didn't think you did well the first go around.
And then going into the LA game, that was a game that you were able to get a pretty big lead on. They came back in the second half, but you were still able to take that one and get a crucial CCAA victory. What are you looking for from LA this weekend that you're hoping to change from your last matchup?
I'm looking forward to getting a W again. I wouldn't want to change that, But no, they're a 5-out motion team, and they're gonna really move the basketball to make you work. They shoot it late in the shot clock, and they really bank on you making a mistake defensively and trying to exploit that and expose that. So we have to be solid defensively. We have to do a better job of communicating and talking on the defensive end, on our switches, and on our matchups. And hopefully we go down there and be able to shoot the ball well because they'll play pack line defense and give us opportunities to, for wide open threes. So I'm excited about the weekend. This thing is winding down, and we like to play come March.
Awesome.
Coach, I just wanted to maybe first by saying kind of addressing that first upcoming game, I mean, how much does the performance against San Bernardino, I know it's a tough one, but does that performance and just, I guess, potentially one thing maybe that I would say is playing at that speed, it did feel like San Bernardino with their athleticism has a pace that maybe could prepare you for San Marcos, who also kind of, just in my observation, it felt like those two teams, one thing they had was they just had an intense pace of play. So how much do you feel like that experience against San Bernardino can really kind of get you amped up and ready to face San Marcos?
I mean, all the teams in the league are really good, and all of them have different approaches. You're right. San Marcos play a little bit faster than Pomona did, not as nearly as fast as San Bernardino does. But this is the last weekend of the season. It's a win-and-you-win situation. So there's no motivation. We've seen everything that San Marcos was going to do throughout the year, whether it was with them or was against common opponents in our league. And we got to be solid and we got to lock down and defend. We can't give up straight line drives and we can't give up old boards. Bottom line is that's what got us beat against Pomona. We gave up a bunch on the old glass. We turned the ball over. We had 29 points in transition. Of turnovers and 50 points in the paint, which means we didn't guard the interior defense. And we turned the ball over for live ball turnovers for easy scores. The league is too good. We got to shore it up and got to clean it up on the back end.
And maybe, if I will, just another comparison from those two games, just they are the top two teams in the conference, was you guys did a good job on positive of the San Bernardino game. You did a really good job of containing Brandon Napper for the whole 40 minutes. I think he finished with 7 points. Greg Milton, in your first matchup, if I recall correctly, you guys did a really good job containing him in the first half. Then he was able to kind of, get going in the second half, and I think finished at a high number. So how do you try and, and how much of that maybe is a focus, but how do you try and maybe contain Greg Milton for the entire 40 minutes? And how much does that factor into trying to get a victory on the road?
He'll be a point of emphasis. He's one of the best players in the league. So we'll do a good job of knowing where he's at all times and being accountable for him on the floor. And, late in that game, we gave up some straight line drives to the basket and some kickoff for threes. They hit a big three late. Milton hit a big three late, and so did Decker. So we got to make sure that we don't lose guys, especially on screening action. That was a back and forth seesaw game. It was a one possession game for most of the game, and they were able to close it out. I'll tell you one thing that San Marcos does a really good job of is they don't beat themselves. They really do. They turn the ball over and they solid defensively, and that's the recipe for success. And we got to make sure we do a good job of taking care of the basketball and getting on the glass.
And lastly, I guess I'll just say, with Cal State LA, obviously, got the win the first time around. I guess it felt like you guys were able to leverage a lot of your size in that game. That was something, that I was thinking about talking about. How do you, I guess, I don't know that you're making too many changes, but is there anything where you have that level of success that you try and give them a different look the second time around, or do you really just try and dictate tempo and stick to what worked with you for the first time?
Yeah, we got to worry about who we are and do what we do well. We second in the league in scoring. We just got to do a better job defensively. We want to, but we at the bottom quarter of the league. And a lot of it is self-inflicted. A lot of it is because we got a lot of live ball turnovers. So it keeps us in conversion defense. So we gotta show up some of those things, and we gotta be solid fundamentally. Talking in conversion defense, stopping the ball in transition, and then putting man on body. I thought that we didn't do a really good job of that against Pomona. That team had no reason to rebound with us according to our size. But you still, no matter how big and strong and athletic you may look, you still got to do the small things. And if you don't do the small things, teams in this league will punish you. And we got punished on Saturday.
Got it. Thank you, Coach.
So I'm guessing you've had a chance to go over the film from this weekend. And in the game against Pomona, what would you say were some specific mistakes that led to the points in the paint and the high field goal percentage that you can work on as a team?
They punched us in the mouth. They got high ball screen action. It wasn't even screening action. They went 5 out. And every time they had the ball up top, they drove. And it wasn't like they beat us on straight line drives. What they did do a good job was turn, spin, get deep in the paint, and jump up and score the basketball against some of the smaller guards. What we got to do a better job of is really gap playing a little bit better gap defense in the gaps and jabbing and recover and getting out the shooters. When they penetrate and pitch the ball, so we can't allow them to spread us out and just drive us to the basket and jump up and score. I didn't think we did a good job of that. We talked about it, but we didn't do a good job of it. So we got to do a better job this weekend because San Marcos does a really good job of trying to dribble drive the basketball and penetrate and pitching to open shooters.
And going into these last two really decisive games, it's kind of like the decision weekend for the conference, obviously. Is the approach for all games the same, or is there an extra, strategic approach with these really important games?
All games are the same. We want to win them all. We take them all serious. We don't, look at one game as less important than another. Our guys totally know what's on the line. I don't even have to tell them. They know what we're playing for. They know what's at stake. We want to continue to control our own destiny. We don't want to get in because we need help from somebody else. So there should be a level of urgency, a sense of urgency, and a sense of desperation. When I mean desperation, I mean playing desperately defensively. Diving on the floor first for loose balls, making sure we block our man out, stepping in front of guys and taking charges and communicating and talking on defense. That's playing desperate. We need to do a better job of that this weekend if we want to come out here with 2 wins on the road.
Sure. Yeah. And my last question is just how important is it to you that you go into that tournament if you make it in with just all the momentum on some wins?
I mean, it means a lot because you got to be good for 3 days. I always say the team that's the hottest late in the year is usually the team that wins the conference tournament, pending that all the teams are beatable and there's no large discrepancy in teams. I think our league is this. San Bernardino's been the class of the league, but as you can see, they lose. They should have lost us. We deserved to win that game. We just didn't get it done, but good teams found a way to win. Sonoma took them to the wire, and they barely beat Monterey last night. So the league's wide open, and the team that's playing the best late, usually the team that wins.
All right. Thank you.
I appreciate you.